guys, welcome back to my channel. Welcome if you are new. My name is Heather. I'm a homeschooling mom of 3 kids, elementary, high school, and recent graduate. I help you implement systems and strategies in order to overcome the chaos and cultivate simplicity in your home and homeschool. Today, I'm super excited to be sharing both the Fresh Start weekly and daily goal planners, as well as the season by season weekly and daily planners. Cultivate What Matters was kind enough to send me 2 of these, and I purchased the other 2. Yesterday, I did go through all of the brand new 2026 PowerSheets. I had 3 covers to share with you: the berry, the navy blooms, and the leaf. And there is a snowfall cover for the PowerSheets as well as the acorn. If you've not seen that video, highly recommend going and watching that. I also went through the new accessories and the free gift with purchase that you will get on September 16th if you buy one of the planners. So I will leave that linked in the description box for you. I really wanted to share everything with you guys. So I think what we're going to do is actually start with the season by season planners. And part of the reason is because the Fresh Start weekly and daily goal planners are 90-day goal planners. They also have planning pages in them. So they have most of the prep work from the PowerSheets, as well as the planning pages from either the weekly season by season or daily season by season, but they are undated and they do come in the 2 cover choices. So we will go over those in just a couple of minutes, or maybe longer than a couple of minutes. I have the weekly season by season in the berry, and I have the daily in the snowfall. And those are your 2 cover choices. So you can either choose berry or snowfall for the weekly, or berry or snowfall for the daily. And that is the same for the Fresh Start daily and weekly goal planners as well. So yesterday when I did my review and walkthrough of the PowerSheets, I did actually unbox the PowerSheets and share that. However, that particular file did not stay on my camera, so I could not show you how nicely things are packaged, so I will show you with the season by season. It comes in this really nice box, and you can use these to store your planners at the end of the year. I tend to use them, sorry, I can't get into mine right now. I tend to use them for cards and pictures and things like that. I really like them. So you open it up and there is tissue paper and a little sticker. And of course, whichever cover you choose, there is a sleeve on the outside of the box. Take the sticker off, and this is the berry season by season weekly planner. And this cover, when I first saw it, and I mentioned this in my PowerSheets review as well, when I saw it on screen, it looks more yellowy red, like with yellow tones, but there are more pinky tones in this. And so it's definitely a berry. It's a beautiful planner. So you open it up and you're going to have the same navy blooms folder that is in the PowerSheets if you choose one of the colorful varieties, and you get your season by season, holidays, and mini monthly calendars. And you also get some little stickers, some flags, some hearts, some birthday hats, and some cupcakes and flowers, and some little leaves, and a few decorative holiday specific or season specific stickers. These are super cute. And this pocket, obviously the weekly planner is quite a bit larger than, well, it's let me just, you know what, let me take the daily planner out too, guys, so that I can show you the size comparison. This box is a little bit taller because the daily planner is quite a bit thicker. It is a full year of daily planning, so you can see the difference between the weekly and the daily as far as thickness goes, and then size. Again, both season by season weekly and daily planners come in either the berry or the snowfall. They are so pretty. These covers are just so nice, and they both are that linen feel cover. They do have the reinforced corners, and they are rounded, and the gold O-ring. There is this little page protector piece in here that obviously you can remove. And it does come with a ruler, which is really nice. It says season by season 2026 weekly planner. This planner belongs to, in gold foil. And there are the colorful tabs in both the snowfall and the berry. The acorn PowerSheets are the only neutral option this year. They did not have a neutral option for the season by season planners. Last year they did have a blush version, and that had the neutral blush tabs on it, but this year both the daily and weekly versions are colorful tabs. Then there is what the Cultivate What Matters mission is, and to everything there is a season, and this is your season to focus on what matters and do all those things you've always wanted to do. The best part, there's no perfection required. Your small imperfect steps will add up. Instead of waiting for someday, your season to cultivate what matters starts today, right here in these pages. Day by day, week by week, season by season, your steps will add up to an intentional life, a legacy. Here's to your purposeful, perfection-free days ahead. And then you do have a year ahead roadmap, similar to the PowerSheets. Obviously, it's a little bit different because this is for all the goal planning pages, and this is for specifically planning, but it does talk about your goals in here, and there are a lot of things that will help combine both the PowerSheets and the season by season planner. So this is where you do your weekly or daily planning, and this is where you do your goal planning. There are no weekly planning pages in the PowerSheets. Those would be in the season by season planner. So write your name on your page, choose your 2026 goals, pace yourself, set a weekly rhythm, plan ahead, commit to what matters. And there is space for 6 goals for 2026, which is nice. However, I do wish that they had space for 8 because there are 8 in the PowerSheets. Then there is a little bit of prep work here, which is really good. It says plant good goals, and this is a quarterly setup page. So you have space for January, February, and March. Your goals for the season ahead, memories you want to make, what do you want more of and what do you want less of. This is a change that they've made. It used to be yes and no. What are you saying yes to? What are you saying no to? But now, what do you want more of and what do you want less of? And then what matters most in this season? And then you have a weekly rhythm ideas section. There is also one of these pages in your PowerSheets. So if you are using both, you could use this for your general day-to-day and the PowerSheets weekly rhythm ideas for when you're going to specifically work on goal-related stuff, or you could just use one or the other. But I love that they have this for each quarter. And then your life in winter is quiet with renewal. This is a 2026 calendar year planner, starts in January and goes through December. You have a dot grid page, then your monthly calendar. There are no holidays listed on this. There is a little bit of a note section and a quote here, plus a question. How can you rest well this month? It is a Sunday start calendar. And then you move into your weekly refresh section. And I absolutely love this section. It is one of the reasons that I wanted to try out the season by season weekly planner. This past summer, I do have a full plan with me, weekly plan with me in the 2025 season by season weekly. I will leave that linked for you. I also have one in the season by season daily if you'd like to check that out. I love this 2-page spread. What matters most this week? On my mind, clear your head and gain fresh perspective. If you want to do a little brain dump here, what's ahead, any appointments or important to-dos, habits to tend, and then your gratitude for the week. And then you have a lot of brain dump space here, or space to just jot down things as you're going through the week, or however you need to use this space. If you've seen any of my plan with me's, you will know that I do a brain dump each week, and I just use a blank page and separate it for personal and work to-dos. And I do that every week. It includes pretty much everything that I can think of on Sunday. Doesn't always include everything that I need to do, but it includes everything that's on my mind. And then you move into your weekly planning pages. And this is a vertical hourly spread. So it does have a Monday start. So this is a mixed start calendar where your monthly calendar is a traditional Sunday start, but your weekly calendar is a Monday start. There are 4 spaces up at the top that don't have any hours associated with it. And then it goes from 6 a.m. to 9 p.m. And it does repeat over here so that you're not trying to line things up and unsure of where your hours are. And you could either use the hours or you could ignore them. You could just make your to-do list. What I tend to do on an hourly schedule for a week is I will just block off sections, and then I have like a to-do section, of appointments or outside of the house section, a work section, a meal section, all of that kind of stuff. But however you want to use this, it's very versatile. You can kind of choose how you want to use it, if you want to block off time with the hourly schedule, or if you just want to write lists in here, or however you want to use it. And there is another column over here of weekly to-dos or extra information that you want to write down. And so each week is a two-page spread. You have your weekly refresh section, and then you have your schedule for the week. And that is how each week goes right through to the end of the month. You get to the end of the month, and then you move to February. And then you have your monthly calendar, your weekly refresh, and your weekly schedule. And that is how each month goes until the end of the first quarter. And then once you get to the end of the first quarter, you are going to have a new seasonal refresh section, similar to the start, plant good goals, April, May, June, my goals for the season ahead, memories I want to make in the season ahead, I want more of and less of, and what matters most in this season, your weekly rhythm ideas, your kind of blank note space, and then you move into your April calendar. And that is how this planner goes. It is very, very functional. I love that each week has two-page spreads. I think that that gives you just so much space to flesh out everything that you need. The divider pages are still the normal page. It's not like a divider page in the PowerSheets where it's a hard, more cardstock page that is an actual divider. So your tab is on the monthly calendar, which is helpful. You can open right to it. You get to the end of June, and then let's see, you get to your new seasonal refresh, plant good goals. This seasonal refresh is the same each quarter, whereas in the PowerSheets, it's a little bit different each quarter, depending on what season you are going into. So just keep that in mind. But it works really well together for goal planning. If you are looking for a planner and a goal planner system, this is going to work great for you. So then your last quarter, plant good goals, October, November, December. Again, my goals for the season ahead, memories, what you want more and less of, and what matters most, your new weekly rhythm ideas, and then your final 3 months of the year. And then once you get to the end of December, you have your 2026 year in review, which is kind of similar to what is at the end of the PowerSheets now, which they updated this year. So it's pretty much the same thing, which is really nice. It gives you space to keep track of all of the wonderful things that you did for the year. And then you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 line notes pages, and then to everything there is a season, and that is the end of the planner. So that is the weekly planner. And then you have the season by season daily planner. And again, this is a daily planner, which is why it is so thick, much thicker than the weekly planner, but a little bit smaller. I would say that this is more A5 size. I don't know the exact dimensions. Again, you have your pocket here, this beautiful navy blooms, your holidays and mini months at a glance, and your sticker sheet, which is the same. The pocket is significantly smaller in the daily planner. Similar to the PowerSheets, I would say you could fit wildcard pages in here, but that is about it as far as width goes. You do still get a ruler, and it says season by season 2026 daily planner. Same introduction and same the year ahead map. It's just a little bit smaller. So you are still going to get your quarterly refresh pages, the same as the weekly. It's just, you know, the sizing is just a little bit smaller. So let me just show you again what that looks like. So it's the exact same layout, but obviously this is much larger. So if you need a little bit more space, you may want this, but if you need more space for your daily planning, then you're going to want the daily planner instead. Then you have your weekly rhythm ideas section, same dot grid page right here, and then you move into your January calendar. Again, there are no holidays. It is a Sunday start calendar. You have some dot grid note space over here. And then the difference between the weekly and the daily planner is that the weekly refresh is only one page. So the weekly refresh in the daily planner is what's ahead, on my mind, habits to tend, what matters most this week. Essentially, it is just that first page of the weekly refresh. You don't get the additional notes section over here. Each day has its own page. So you have your hourly schedule, you have a place for your priority, a to-do list section, space that says tend to my goals, express gratitude, encourage someone, and today's win. Again, I do have a weekly plan with me in the 2025 season by season daily, which I will leave linked for you. And each day has its own page except for Saturday and Sunday. Saturday and Sunday are stacked on one page. I do like that they have two columns here so that you could write a longer to-do list, but there are no hours for Saturday and Sunday. And I think that it just depends on what you need, what your planning needs are. If you need those hours, you may want to consider the weekly planner, but if you don't, this is okay. I tend to work off to-do lists on the weekends, so this does give me enough space to write out everything that I want to do. I personally like to have Saturday and Sunday on one page, but it's okay that it's not. And then you do have a what I'm grateful for this week at the end of the week. Then you move into your weekly refresh section. One thing about this planner that's a little bit different than my Erin Condren daily planner is that each week, which side the days are on is different. It's not like every Monday is going to be on the left and every Tuesday is going to be on the right. Because if you notice at the start of January, we had the weekly refresh on the left and Monday on the right. So that's not that big of a deal because you're really just moving to the next day as you're going through the month. But that is something that I notice. This does give you plenty of space to do all of your planning, and it is the exact same layout for each month. You have your monthly calendar, your weekly refresh each week, your daily planning, and then you start with your weekly refresh again. Once you get to the end of a quarter, you do have the quarterly refresh section. So plant good goals. Again, it's the same thing. April, May, June, my goals in the season ahead, memories, what you want more and less of, and what matters most in this season, your weekly rhythm ideas for the season. And again, the tabbed pages are not like an actual divider page. It goes right to your monthly calendar. And obviously that is very helpful to have the tab go right to the monthly calendar. Once you get to the end of June, again, you have your seasonal refresh section and your weekly rhythm ideas. So there isn't a ton of color in this planner besides the tabs and some little floral decorations on these dot grid pages at the start of each month. But it's very, very plain, so you can definitely use lots of color coding and stickers to make it brighter and more fun. And then again, at the end of September, you have another Plant Good Goals section, another weekly rhythm ideas, and then you move into your last quarter of the year. And that is how it's going to go throughout the entire planner. I think that this is a great system to use in conjunction with the PowerSheets. It really focuses on the goal setting because each week you are focusing on particular habits that you want to cultivate, goals that are on your mind for the week ahead. You can make sure that you write them down and put them in here. I think that's very helpful. You still have your 2026 year in review at the end, and then you have 1, 2, 3, 4 line notes pages. So you had 7, I believe, in the weekly and 4 in the daily. And that is the end of the daily season by season planner. So these are both great options to use with the yearly PowerSheets goal planner because this is just planning and this is just goal planning. So you would need both of them to go together. However, if you are not entirely sure you want to do a full year PowerSheets or a full year calendar planner, if you're new to Cultivate What Matters, if you're new to goal setting in general, or if you really are just unsure about what goal setting would be like in the PowerSheets system, the Fresh Start planners might be where you want to start because these combine both the goal setting of the PowerSheets as well as the weekly and daily planning pages. depending on whether you get the daily or weekly goal planner. They are undated. They are quarterly planners. So if you choose to try out one of the Fresh Start planners, if you purchase it on September 16th, you could use one of these planners for the last quarter of 2025 and see if it's something that works for you, if it's what you want. And then you could purchase the PowerSheets for 2026 and get a season by season planner, or you may decide that you really like 90-day goal setting. I love quarterly goal setting. I think that it is so useful. I read the book, The 12-Week Year, many, many years ago. And once I read that book, it really helped me hone in on 90-day goal setting. And while I do use the year-long PowerSheets, each season I do a quarterly refresh, and I have been implementing a 13th week this year. I have a playlist if you're interested in that. I won't get into too much detail with that right now. But it is so helpful for me to reset my goals each 90 days. And so I think that this is such a useful tool. So let's go through the Fresh Start Weekly first. Again, you can choose either the snowfall or the berry covers for either of these planners. And you open it up. It does not have a pocket. It does come with a ruler. It says Fresh Start Weekly Goal Planner. This intentional season belongs to, and a place for your name. Your fresh start begins here. It does have a roadmap to work on. It's a little bit different because it is only seasonal instead of for a full year. And then you get to the prep work section. And the prep work is essentially the same prep work as in here. You're getting the same information. I think that there may be a couple of pages missing. So let me just see. You're not getting this page, and you're not getting your brainstorm your year ahead because this is a 90-day planner. So you are moving right into the Come Alive Again section. And then you move into Learn from the Past and Evaluate Where You Are Now. And then your Cultivate Your Mindset. And these are exactly the same as the PowerSheets. And in fact, you have a little bit more space just because these pages are a little bit wider. You're going to see the Name What Matters section and what I want more of and what I want less of. This was different last year in both the PowerSheets and the Fresh Start daily and weekly planners. It used to say what I'm saying yes to and what I'm saying no to, but they changed the wording. Then you have a Choose Your Focus section, and they do have a QR code if you are looking for more ideas and help. They have a Brainstorm Your Goals section with the CLE categories. They have changed the family and spiritual and personal growth colors. They swapped these. Family used to be pink and spiritual and personal growth used to be yellow, but they have swapped those this year. You're also not getting this My Most Purposeful Year section because it is, again, a 90-day goal planner. So you're moving right into the Brainstorm Your Goals section. They have a Set Goals That Stick, but they do not have the yearly goal breakdown because you're not breaking down your goals by year, you're breaking them down by season. So you're really looking at your seasonal goals and projects rather than your yearly goals. And then it has space for 8 goals for the season ahead. And then you get to your goal action plans. And again, because this is undated, it says month 1, month 2, month 3. This is very similar to what the PowerSheets looks like for their goal action plans. And you have 8 of these. Once you get to the end of the goal action plans, you have a Make It Easy to Remember, and there's a space to choose a word for the season and why you chose this word, and then a Live It Out section talking about how to use the monthly calendar pages, the planning pages, and the tending list. And again, there's a QR code if you are looking for more help on that. You do still have your weekly rhythm ideas for the season ahead, which is in both the PowerSheets and the season by season planners. And then you move into your month, and there's a blank page here. You can list whichever month you're starting in. The calendar is undated, but it does have a Sunday start, so you have to date the calendar. No holidays, obviously, or anything in here, and there is space for notes on the side. And then you move into your monthly reset section and tending list. Important to-dos, goals to make progress on my calendar, on my mind, your cultivated life evaluation check-in, and then your tending list. Now, you don't have daily habits because those are actually in your weekly planning pages for your weekly refresh section. So you have encouraging words, priority, monthly goals or projects, and weekly action items or rhythms. And then you have a couple of blank pages for notes. And then you move into your weekly refresh section. This is exactly the same as the season by season planner. It gives you space to write what matters most for the week, on my mind, what's ahead, habits to tend. This is where you would put your daily habits that you're working on for the week or the month, and your gratitude, your brain dump space or to-do list space. And then you move into your weekly planning pages. Again, it's not dated, so you do have to date it, but it is the exact same layout as in the season by season weekly. So each week you have your weekly refresh section, and then you have your weekly schedule page, and there would be 5 weeks. And then you get to your month in review, which is at the end of each month in the PowerSheets. You have a notes section, and then you have your next month, and that's how it will be for each month. So your calendar, your monthly reset section, and your tending list with monthly goals and weekly action items, your notes pages, and then your weekly refresh and weekly hourly schedule pages that are undated. Your month in review, your notes, and then you move into your last month, your monthly calendar, monthly reset, tending list, notes pages, weekly refresh, and weekly schedule pages. And then at the end of this planner, you have marking this season, and it is the same as at the end of the season by season planners for the year, as well as the PowerSheets for the year. So each quarter you get to come in and do this. You can use these. You can choose 4 and use them for a full year if you really want to deep dive on quarterly planning, or if you want to make sure that you have your goals and your planning pages in one planner, in one book. This is very, very helpful for that. It is a little bit more expensive because you're buying 4 books instead of just 1 book for the PowerSheets or 1 book for the season by season, but it is comparable to purchasing both the PowerSheets and a season by season planner. So then you get to the end and you have some dot grid space. So you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 dot grid pages, and then the end of the planner. And it does still have the beautiful gold line interior cover. There is no pocket, there is no mini monthly calendar, and there are no stickers in this planner. So this is the Fresh Start Weekly, and I really, really like it quite a bit. So your Fresh Start Daily is going to be a little bit smaller, but still thicker than the Fresh Start Weekly planner. And to give you an idea, it is even smaller than the PowerSheets as well. Probably could have done this. So the PowerSheets is a little bit taller than the Fresh Start Weekly and about 1.5 inches taller than the Fresh Start Daily. It is a little bit more narrow than the Fresh Start Weekly, but significantly wider than the Fresh Start Daily. So you open it up. Again, there is no interior pocket, but you are getting your ruler. Starts out the same way. Fresh Start Daily Goal Planner. Your Fresh Start begins here. And this is, the prep work is going to look exactly the same as the Fresh Start Weekly Planner. You are just missing a couple of pages, you know, the Brainstorm Your Year Ahead and the My Cultivated Year, little fill in the blank section. But for the most part, this is going to have all of your prep work that you see in the PowerSheets. My goals for this season, there are space for 8, and you still have your 2-page spreads for goal action plans. Again, it's undated, so it says month 1, month 2, month 3. Once you get past your 8th goal action plan, it has a make it easy to remember with your word of the season and why I chose this word, a section to live it out, and the QR code for figuring out how to use the tending list and the calendar page section. You have your weekly rhythm ideas for the quarter, your month brainstorm space or note space, however you want to use it, and then you have your monthly calendar, again, Sunday start, and you have your note section on the right, your monthly reset, and your tending list. You're getting the same information, it's just much smaller because this is a much smaller planner. Your tending list includes the monthly goals and projects and the weekly action items because your daily habits are going to be on your weekly refresh section. So your weekly refresh, again, for the daily planning is 1 page, whereas in the weekly, it is the 2-page spread. You're missing that extra checklist section and dot grid space. So then you have your daily planning, and you can circle what day of the week it is and write your date here. It is the same layout as the season by season daily. Each week has 7 days, and then you have your weekly refresh section right at the end, and then you start again. And there are no tabs in the Fresh Start weekly and daily planners, so you may want to add those just for your own benefit. There is still the month in review section, your notes section, then your month brainstorm space, your monthly calendar, your monthly reset and pending list, your notes sections, your weekly refresh, and your daily planning pages. And that is how it goes each month for the planning. And then once you get to the end, you get marking the season. Again, it is the exact same layout, just the sizing of the boxes and circles are a little bit smaller, so you have to write just a little bit smaller. Then you have 2 dot grid notes pages, and then you get to the end of the planner. So a couple of other things to note is that you don't get the reinforced corners on the Fresh Start weekly or daily goal planners, and you don't get the tabs. There also isn't as much gold foil accents in these planners as there is in the season by season weekly and daily planners, as well as the PowerSheets, but these are all of the cover options that you can get for Fresh Start daily and weekly goal planners, as well as the season by season daily and weekly goal planners. You can see kind of the difference in size for the weekly and daily planners here as well. So thank you guys so much for watching. I hope that this video was helpful for you. If you have questions about anything that I talked about, please let me know in the comments, or you can email me. My contact form is always in the description box. If you're looking for more help and encouragement around home and homeschool and goals, I would love for you to come check out my membership community. That link is also always in the description box. Again, thank you so much for watching. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, and I will see you in the next one. Thanks, guys. Bye.